the trading week. We're already on Thursday, but the big trigger this morning is definitely still going to be what the Federal Reserve's outlook has been. It's been less hawkish than expected. Will we see that move in IT stocks over the day? Overall, Asia has also been positive. All right, first hit rates hitting here for the markets and definitely up in the green, 23,400 and above, fairly comfortably. Are we going to see 23,500 levels? We'll wait and see. Bank Nifty not looking bad at all, above 50,000 and comfortable over there as well. The mid cap and small cap actually showing more signs of life, about 0.75% for the small cap, for the mid cap and the small cap, both indices up. Let's pull up the heat map and see what's buzzing this morning in trade and where really the action is. We talked about Nestle in our trade setup, and that really is top of the pack, at least on the front line of the Nifty 50, about 3% up. The reason is that their royalty rate that they're going to transfer has stayed unchanged. That means no additional hit on margins for Nestle. That's good enough. But the fact that it's the top pick also shows that the market is being a little careful today, playing it a little defensive in that sense. LTI, Mindtree, Ultratech, all of them doing okay. We talked about IT being the flavor of the morning, and that seems to have worked out exactly as we said it. LTI Mindtree is up there. So is HCL Tech, Wipro about 1% up. So, that definitely is working out. We talked about Dr. Reddy's also. Dr. Reddy's having a good morning. And remember, they have their arm has tied up for a new drug in the US market. It's an oncology product. HDFC Life in focus. Remember, as the dust settles on the entire surrender value game, HDFC Life is one of the top picks. They also came out early enough to say that they welcome the new surrender policy and will just have a very marginal hit on their profitability. So HDFC Life now quickly moving towards the top position, but still about 1.5%. Not too much red at all, Agam, this morning. Just 4 counters there. That to an HUL, Britannia, Tata Consumer. So it's a consumption space. So Nestle is up there for a very different reason, but the rest is really in the consumption space. Apart from that, you're not seeing a bad morning at all, and IT in flavor.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, see, we were actually taking stock of how things are panning as far as the broader markets are concerned too. Something like a mid-cap index or a small-cap index, it should be interesting to see how things are faring there. So while we are looking at a 0.1% advance for the mid-cap and the small-cap indices, let's take a look at what's really happening as far as broader markets go. And among stocks which are in focus on the back of news, there are a handful of them. So we start by taking a look at 360 WAM, and that's where we've had some cues coming in. We're in fact looking at about a good 2.3% up move there. Soba's up as much as 4%. Of course, we have more details with respect to the rights issue coming in. And it does seem like a lot of traders are at the moment, and investors for that matter, everyone who'd potentially be interested in the rights issue, buying into it. And L&T Finance, of course, on the back of the block deal, we're looking at the 3% uptick there as well. A couple of counters on the back of order wins. So we have something like a Gensol Engineering, which is also advancing by as much as 5%. In fact, it's locked in an upper circuit of 5%, as is the case for Bondada Engineering. So these are two relatively larger orders for both these companies of the relative size, and that's the reason why it does seem like we're seeing an upper circuit for both these respective companies. And taking cues from yesterday, we have 2 other counters which were buzzing in trade yesterday. Let's see if we have a follow-through buying coming through. It does seem like Gravita India is looking at a bout of profit-taking, at least earlier in the session, as is the case for Elecon Engineering, which is down 2.5%. Remember, both these counters were up anywhere between 6 to 10% yesterday. It does seem like it's taking a breather in today's day of trade. But on the whole, if you consider your broader markets, Tamanna, both the mid-cap and the small-cap indices will continue to outperform the benchmarks like the Nifty and the Bank Nifty.
Absolutely. A lot of specific news-driven flow this morning, I would reckon, Agam. So, Sobha, you talked about, but look at macro tech as well. About 4.5% up. Sugar stocks have been in focus. Sri Renuka, about 5% up. And we're going to be speaking to the management ahead on the show as well. So stay tuned for that. Quick programming reminder. L&T Finance, I wanted to look at. So L&T Finance is seeing a block buying today. And that stock is doing fairly well. That was on Kunal Rambia's radar as well. Paytm I want to pull up. So this has had some interesting news. They've tied up with Samsung, and the Paytm services are going to be available on the Samsung wallet. So enough to show some enthusiasm in that stock this morning. Now on the sell side and on counters which are not working too well, if you pull up that entire list, you will see the entire FMCG pack.